Alana Harris is an Australian influencer that was recently caught poisoning her baby so she could fake that they were undergoing a serious illness, therefore soliciting views and money from her audience.
Just told that our daughter's brain is covered in tumours, and what is worse is that we found this out on the same day that our other daughter passed away 4 years ago.
No lead-in for this one, because I genuinely cannot believe the levels of evil that it takes to not only do this to your child, but also to perform like some sort of sociopath on camera. And not only that, but to have the audacity to think that you'd get away with it. Well, watch the rest of that TikTok now, but before that, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're nearing the end of the year now, and I'd genuinely be dead curious to see how far we can get that sub count by the time the year ends. Anyway, let's watch the rest of this video now.
Just told that our daughter's brain is covered in tumours, and what is worse is that we found this out on the same day that our other daughter passed away 4 years ago. I don't know whether that's like Lily saying that she's here with us, or if it's just a really shitty day.
I mean, here's the thing. You guys already know how this story ends because of the intro, the title. You guys know that she's faking it, but you gotta remember, at the time this was posted, no one would even think that. That wouldn't even be in the forefront of anyone's mind because no one wants to think that. No one's first thought, well, no one normal's first thought anyway, is to think, oh, you must be the one who's responsible for it, you fucking harpy. If you're a normal, empathetic person, you'll just go, oh man, that's rough, man. That's really rough. I hope you get through it. And she's exploiting that. Like, she's just exploiting people's niceties, I guess, to get her way. And it worked. And it worked. We'll get onto the GoFundMes later, but she raised a stupid amount of money based on a pure lie. And to frame it as, like, this whole tragedy where it's like, oh, she's ill on the same day that our previous baby died. Ugh. It is just sickening.
But I need a coffee, so let's make a coffee together.
Holy shit! This cannot be real! Well, it is real. This isn't like AI or anything. She has just mourned the death of her 4-year-old and detailed how nearing the anniversary of said death, her now 1-year-old is covered in brain tumors. But anyway, let's have this coffee. Obviously, this is a re-upload because the original accounts, her original videos, all got taken down. Well, she removed them all because she's fucking embarrassed. She got caught out, basically. She's not sorry, but she is sorry she got caught. And even if she was sorry, there is no apology that could fucking justify this pish. But on the re-upload, they've captioned it not one tear shed, which is true. It's fucking absolutely true. Like, she's making the crying noises and making, like, baby faces, but not one tear leaves her fucking tear ducts. And by the way, guys, whilst we're here, I need to let you know I'm struggling at the minute because my uncle has unfortunately just contracted, like, a really bad case of Alzheimer's, and, you know, every time I see him, it's a saddening case. He's completely forgotten who I am, and he's a shell of his former self. But, you know what? For now, I'm just going to enjoy this curly whirly, which, by the way, they increased the prices of these recently. Don't think I've not seen that shit, you fucking knobs! Why would you increase the prices of the curly whirly? It's the Freddo situation all over again! That's the sort of vibe that I'm getting from this video. But anyway, we'll hear her out. Let's see what she has to say about the coffee.
I need a coffee, so let's make a coffee together. I also don't have a coffee machine, and I really need a new coffee. Like, I really need a real coffee right now.
Is that the biggest problem in your life right now, woman? She sounds sadder. She sounds more upset talking about the coffee machine than she does her dying baby. I can't believe this shit. I can't believe this shit. This is the thing, right? Because even if it wasn't exposed as completely fake, even if this was the realest thing ever and her baby genuinely was dying from an illness, a brutal illness, the fact that she then caveats it with, I just need a new coffee machine. It just makes a joke of the whole situation. Like, why? Why do you think this is appropriate?
But I've just got the stick ones. It's gonna have to do.
Now, before we continue, I'm aware that I might sound a bit harsh because we've not fully established exactly how we know Alana is faking this whole thing, so we'll get into that right now. Firstly, the accounts have been completely taken down from the second that these allegations came up. There's been no defense, no statement on her end. She just radio silence, take everything down, damage control to the nth degree. And if that doesn't scream guilt, I don't know what does. And don't get me wrong, silence does not always mean guilt, but in a situation like this where the entire internet, as well as the doctors operating on your baby, we'll get onto that later, think that you are intentionally poisoning your child, yeah, I think a response would be, you know, appropriate, to say the least. If there is ever a situation where you shouldn't plead the fifth, it's this one. I mean, to be fair, silence is her only option because she can't exactly lie about it anymore. Everyone knows. So the only options here really are just silence or lying. But everyone knows it's lying, so it won't even do anything for you. I guess I can see why she chose the former. And the second reason we know that this is all a bunch of fake shit is that the GoFundMes have also been taken down because, shockingly by the way, GoFundMe isn't exactly cool with platforming donations for people who are trying to kill their children. Or maybe not kill, but, you know, she's pumping her child full of drugs, knowing that it's gonna seriously injure them. She wants her kids seriously injured at the very least. Which I know, by the way, GoFundMe are really uptight, aren't they? Like, learn to take a joke, guys. Come on now. Can't even poison your own fucking baby without getting punished for it nowadays. The world's gone mad, I tell you. Anyway, because all the GoFundMes were taken down, we don't exactly know how much was raised in all of them combined. However, the one that we do have before it was taken down, the last screenshot we have of it, over 60,000, I'm guessing Australian dollars, were raised to save Daisy and her family during this trying time. This fundraiser is no longer accepting donations. Oh, I wonder why. So yeah, I mean, if you were looking for a motive, the amount that's being donated to her is a fairly decent answer for you. So just for future reference, we are dealing with a woman who is willing to sacrifice the potential life of their baby for 60,000 Australian dollars. So to her, her baby is worth 60,000 dollars. Anyway, by far the most damning piece of evidence that proves this whole thing was a setup, this whole thing was faked by her, is that the doctors obviously were operating on the baby to try and save it. They were doing a brain surgery. And this brain surgery in particular was the last one that baby Daisy, the 1-year-old in question here, had to go through. But during this surgery, or afterwards rather, they didn't find anything of note, which was weird considering that it was supposedly full of tumors. So they did a blood test on the baby, and in the blood test they found high levels of benzodiazepines, which, for those who don't know, are typically treatments associated with, like, treating insomnia, anxiety, that sort of thing. And it's taken orally usually, or it can be injected, it can be done as, like, a suppository. The point is, this is not something that creeps into your body when you're sleeping through the night snoring. It's not a natural substance that your body produces, and some people just have abnormally high levels of it. No, it has to be administered by yourself or somebody in your life if you're a baby, because, I don't know, call me brave, but I don't think this baby was taking benzodiazepines by itself whenever it wanted. Someone was giving them to her. And again, call me brave, I feel as though it was fucking Alana. And the doctors treating Daisy had a similar hunch, because once they caught wind of the fact that Alana was going on TikTok, talking about all this weird medical information about their baby, spreading misinformation, the doctors were like, hang on, this is not what's going on with the baby at all. Why is she lying online about this? Something fishy is going on here. And they called Child Protective Services. And the way that the public caught wind of this is that the Australian media had got a leaked text message, which we'll read out right now. Got some Harris family goss for you. First of all, I don't like, whoever this sender is, I don't like them calling it goss. I think that's fucking grim. This is not gossip. A child's life is literally in danger here. Gossip is like, ooh, did you hear so-and-so broke up with X and Y? Did you hear that Barry ate all of Samantha's chicken? But not only that, he just ate the skin and left the fucking disgusting flesh there, like Eric Cartman. That's what I would consider goss, not, ooh, did you hear that Samantha is poisoning her children, almost killing them? I don't know, for me, that's like a couple levels above gossip. It's like when people on YouTube, those like really shit commentary channels, talk about, ooh, today we're gonna be talking about the Blibbly Bob situation, and you click on the video and it's like, Blibbly Bob's father died in a mass shooting, and it's like, is this a situation or is this like a tragedy that you probably shouldn't be exploiting for views right now? Anyway, sorry, we're getting off topic. We'll read the text. So the mum/dad, or mum and dad, have drugged Daisy the whole time. Some of the nurses started following her Insta page/TikTok and was like, no, she's spreading false info. She doesn't have brain tumors and she was never palliative. After her last brain surgery, which found nothing, the Children's Hospital decided to run a toxicology report, and it showed that Daisy had a high reading for benzodiazepines, which is like Valium, etc. Kids have been taken off them, and I'm not too sure where the mum and dad are. However, Daisy is under the care of Child Protection and is still in hospital awake, sitting up, eating, and being a normal 1-year-old. Just a reference, by the way, here's the post of Alana talking about her baby going into palliative care. She is in the hospital, lying about what the hospital workers are telling her. She's literally, what, a couple meters away from the doctors who told her that there's nothing to do with palliative care and just fucking posting it anyway? I'm sure these kids are gonna love you when they grow up, mate. I seriously can't get over this. I'm not even... The thing is, I am a little bit shocked, but I'm not as shocked as I should be, because all these family channels are utter shit. I've spoken about this before, so I won't go on for too long, but if you're a family channel, fucking stop. Stop. Especially if there's kids involved. You need to stop. And again, even if it was true, the fucking heart emoji, crying emoji, it's just so weird. My child's got cancer, crying emoji. Ooh. No parent should need to be told that their baby is going into palliative care. Well, at least we can agree on one thing. No parent should need to be told that. And luckily, you are not a parent who has been told that. So, I mean, maybe, to be fair, she doesn't state here that she was told that the baby was going into palliative care. Maybe she was just making a general statement. Who fucking knows? It's good critical thinking from me. Alana, if you're watching this, hire me to be your lawyer. Because no one else has taken this fucking case, let me tell you. After 4 weeks in hospital, 9 days in PICU, 8 cardiac arrests, Daisy is now going into her first brain surgery. Why do you sound like almost proud of it? Like you're flaunting how many procedures your babies had to go through. You're collecting procedures like they're fucking gym badges in Pokemon. Gotta catch them all, and now we're gonna go into the first surgery. It's like a gym battle. To be fair, her husband's name is literally Brock. But I'm sorry to tell you this, love, this isn't the Elite Four. This is not the Johto region. This is a real baby whose life is on the line here. Fucking get off your phone and take care of your family, you mug. But anyway, if you're a little bit astute and you read the end of that text and sort of paid attention to it, you'd realize there's more evidence that this is all fake, because once the baby was taken away from the mother's care and put into Child Protective Services and wasn't being pumped with drugs constantly, all of a sudden, she's miraculously fine again. No surgery needed. It turns out when you don't overdose your child on benzodiazepine, which can literally be fatal and cause depression in adults, they tend not to be as ill anymore. I had no idea that many brain tumors could just disappear overnight if you were taken away from your mother. And by the way, to make things even worse, because we haven't even got into this yet, this lassie has 4 children. A 7-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 1-year-old who she's talking about in all these TikToks. And she had all these children with her husband, who we previously mentioned, who's named Brock, which we'll talk about him later, don't you worry, because he's acting like he had nothing to do with all this. And the TikTok account that they had, which they posted all these videos on, had over 1 million followers. So this is not some small fry by any means here. And to make matters even worse, the main concept of the videos was her going through life taking care of her sick children. So the whole TikTok was based around the child's medical journey, meaning she had a direct financial incentive for her children to be ill. That is literally what her entire career is based off of. Her children being sick. Which is fucking horrifying, because it makes you think, like, is this just the one time that she got caught? You might say that that's presumptuous, but I really don't think it is. If you're willing to do this once, you're willing to do this constantly, because the way she was so maniacal, emotionless, talking about all this shit, I don't buy that she only did this once. But either which way, even if you can make a case that she did only do it once, there is no way you can make a case that she should have custody of any of those children. Take them away from her as soon as you fucking can. And if they're not taken away from her, that is a failure on every level. From the Australian government, the Australian childcare system, everyone has failed those children. But anyway, now that we know that Alana is a confirmed liar, let's go over more of the statements that she was making with that knowledge in mind.
We were just told that our daughter's brain is covered in tumours. My baby girl, she's so little. And she is riddled with tumours.
No, she's not. She's not riddled with tumors. You're a fucking liar. You vindictive, evil fucking woman. Seriously, I can't believe people like you exist. You might just be the most evil person we've covered on this channel. And that is a feat. That is a genuine, real achievement. So I guess well done for that. It's the only thing you've ever done in your fucking life, love. And even in this video, I mean, it's easy to look back in hindsight, but it's so blatantly, like, manipulative. Like, not even in a subtle way. Oh, my baby's dying, but she's so small, and she's so little and small, and she's just a baby, and she's dying. Don't you feel sorry for her? Don't you feel sorry for me? I'm her mother. I feel really sad. Let me make crying noises without my eyes getting even a little bit wet. I mean, look, if we're trying to look for silver linings here, at the very least, she's not lying about the tumors being anywhere else. Like, she's just sticking with the brain. Hopefully she doesn't expand from that. right?
He said, don't be alarmed because she will have them in her heart, her kidneys, her lungs, her nerves, her spinal cord, her eyes.
Fucking hell, she's not even human at this point. She's just a fucking big tumor. Did you put her in the fucking microwave, love? Also, the statement, don't be alarmed, but she's gonna have tumors in her brain, her lungs, her heart, her kidneys, her fucking spinal cord. What do you mean, don't be alarmed? How's that not going to alarm me? If there ever was a thing that would alarm a parent, it is the thought of their child having tumors on every part of their body. I've worked in hospitals before. In fact, I worked in the chemo day unit, so we were around tumors a lot. This is not how doctors convey information to you. Or at least good doctors. They don't caveat their statements with, oh, don't be scared. Don't be scared that your child is literally dying in front of you. It's more of a, hey, look, I know this is a really tough time for you and your family. I'm going to lay out all the information. I'll give you a fair warning of what's to come so that you're not as surprised as you would be if we didn't give you the information. And then we'll tell you how we're going to attempt to remedy it all. And we're also going to assure you that we are going to do everything we can to prevent it from getting to that point. They don't just say, oh, by the way, your child is like on the cusp of death and they're going to have tumors everywhere on their body, but you know, don't let that scare you. It's only minor, really. I mean, I don't know how it is in silly backwards Australia, but I would assume it's not like that there either.
Epilepsy Sunday with infantile spasms, and then Thursday with tuberous sclerosis complex. I need a hug. I need a hug.
You don't need a hug, you need fucking jail time. I can't believe you're trying to paint yourself out as the victim here, and I can't believe that people didn't realize how blatantly fake your crying is. It doesn't look like you've been crying at all. Like, it's one thing if you've been crying so much that when you're on camera, you have literally run out of tears to cry from. Like, that is a real thing that does happen, and I'm assuming would happen if a parent was in a situation like this. You would be crying fucking constantly. So when you turn the camera on, I would assume, you know, it's not the first thing you do after hearing the information. You probably take some time to process it, turn the camera on, explain it to the camera if you're that type of fucking person to do that, to air out your family's dirty laundry on camera, which you shouldn't do, but if you are that type of person, you'd probably have cried so much before that point that there's no tears left in your fucking tear ducts. That's not what's happening here. Her face is clean as hell, and despite that, there is still not one shed of a tear in any of these videos. She just makes the noises. She's not a very good actor, and if you're gonna lie to this extent, probably take some acting lessons, mate. I know you have the money for it. I hope you're happy with how you made that money, by the way. I mean, you fucking earned it, love. As horrible as this whole situation is, I can only hope you got yourself a good fucking coffee machine with all the money you made exploiting your children's illnesses. You think this woman lounges around one day and just goes, you know what? I kind of want to upgrade my car to a new one. Maybe I should just like stab my daughter in the hand and then take her to the hospital and say she got assaulted and then put it on TikTok, get some donations in, and then I'll have a new car in no time. It wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me if that's how her fucked up mind worked. She was obviously constantly posting photos of the baby on the internet as well. I will be blurring the child's face because fuck me, I feel so bad for this wee girl. I can't imagine how she's gonna feel when she grows up knowing that the person who is supposed to be the most protective of her, the person who loves her the most in the world, is trying to make her as ill as possible so that she can make a couple more dollars. But the thing is, even if this was real, to post your child's face on the internet to this extent, even without the illnesses, in my opinion, is fucking grim. It's one thing if they turn up in a video every now and then, and the content isn't solely based around them, but there are families that do that. I think the way, I don't know, PewDiePie, for example, is doing it is, like, acceptable. That's fine. I don't really have any problems with that because the child is not the sole focus of the content. He's not really exploiting his kid for views, if that makes sense. But to have a channel that is solely focused on your children, and your children being ill especially, is so fucked on so many levels because even without the illness, I don't agree with family channels. I think it's disgusting. I think they're all fucking disgusting. There is not one good one. Not one. But when you add all the illnesses in as well, even if it was a perfectly wholesome family channel and all these illnesses were real, you keep that shit to your family, you keep that shit to yourself. You don't put your kids' life-threatening illnesses on public blast this much. These are insanely pervasive medical procedures and situations. It's like, not everyone needs to know about it. Some things can be private, seriously. Now, in terms of the illnesses themselves that she is claiming for the baby to have, yes, I did work in a hospital, I mentioned that a lot, but I wasn't a doctor. Like, let's not get it twisted. I wasn't a doctor, I wasn't a nurse, I wasn't any of those things. I'm not some mad fucking genius. However, there is a rather convenient video of a doctor in Melbourne basically explaining the whole situation, so we'll give that a quick watch.
Comments and private messages from people asking me to give my opinion on this horrendous case involving the Harris family. So I'm going to address it just now, but the first thing I want to say is that everything that you've read and seen so far on social media, it is all speculation at this moment in time. So I am going to be really careful what I say because it is now under police investigation.
If there's one good thing to come out of this situation, by the way, it's the police investigation. This isn't some smart schoolboy 9 shit where the police aren't getting involved because there's no overt breaking of any laws. This is straight up illegal, probably in every fucking country in the world, rightfully so. She should be buried underneath the fucking prison for this shit. This is awful. And I hope that police investigation bangs her to every right possible.
How could surgeons operate on someone with no evidence of an actual physical illness? Now, this is where things don't all add up. No surgeon, in Australia certainly, is going to operate on a baby girl without any evidence. So I'm wondering if, in fact, some of the story is true. I remember seeing in a video a while back that the mum was saying the daughter had been diagnosed with something called tuberous sclerosis, which is a rare genetic disease that can cause non-cancerous tumours all over your body. I suspect that the little girl did, in fact, have this condition. How you couldn't just make something like that up with no evidence and have a doctor actually perform an invasive intervention. So what I'm saying is I do think that parts of the story are probably true, except what has come to light is that the mother allegedly has maybe been adding to the little one's symptoms by giving a benzodiazepine, which is Valium, otherwise known as diazepam.
So this is very interesting here, and I'm glad we watched this video, by the way. This is fucking class. Go show some love to Dr. Katie if you find a TikTok account, because this is really meaningful information here. Like, this is poignant as fuck, because it does make absolute sense that some of the symptoms are true. This is not a baby with no problems at all, because, as she says, there's no way surgeons would just operate on a child without any proof of any sort of pre-existing conditions. You can't just go to a hospital and be like, hey, my child's sick, can you perform a life-altering operation on them? Oh yeah, no bother, just put them on the table, we'll put them to bed right now. Obviously, there needs to be some sort of medical history, some sort of pre-existing condition that can be proven convincingly. And by convincingly, I mean like without a shadow of a doubt. However, based on everything we've seen so far, based on all of the allegations that have come to surface and the subsequent removal of the GoFundMes, of the TikTok pages, of all the videos that Alana had posted, it does genuinely lead me to think that, you know, she was definitely adding to this illness, which is grim, especially when you consider that maybe when she found out that the baby had this illness, she was thinking, rather than, oh fuck, my baby's ill, this is really bad for the family, maybe there was a small part of her that thought, yes, my fucking golden ticket, everyone's gonna feel so bad for me and donate so much money to me, and look at my TikTok page, my daughter's illness is gonna be so good for my career, so let's exacerbate it a little bit. I don't know if I'm being a little bit too, like, outstepping my boundaries by assuming something like that, so I'm not gonna say it as though it's like an absolute fact, but it is food for thought for sure. You can let me know in the comments if you think that's too far or like too speculatory, but for a woman who has shown this much genuine evil in her fucking heart, I honestly wouldn't judge anyone for thinking anything of her at this point. It's like when people say they don't trust the government. I don't care what level of distrust for the government you have. You could think that they staged everything is fake. As much as I might not agree with you on everything, I will never judge you for that. Like, I don't think you're a nutcase for thinking anything distrustful about the government.
This medication was given to a very young child. It can absolutely cause drowsiness, reduced consciousness, unsteadiness on their face, slurred speech, and, you know, could essentially mimic symptoms of a serious neurological disorder. Other comments I've seen is, oh, why did the doctors not test for this sooner? Why, you know, is it not routine? That would this not have shown up on routine blood tests? To do a drug screen on someone is a urine test. Well, certainly it is where I work in Australia, but it's not going to be the first test that I would order on a little 1-year-old girl who's been brought in with symptoms of reduced conscious level. I'm going to be looking for actual, real-life, organic causes for their symptoms. I wonder if that's why there's been a delay in the diagnosis to this alleged poisoning, because doctors have been looking for real causes. So it's not the first test that we would order in someone that has got neurological signs or symptoms. I think it's only been after a period of time where things are starting to not add up, like surgery didn't find any explanation for the little one's symptoms, that the medical team have then gone searching further and further, and that's when they've done the urine drug screen.
Really, really good video. I love hearing from people in the fields that controversies are about. Like with the Resilient Jenkins stuff, hearing from single mothers a lot of the time and people in impoverished households, for example, was like the best part of that thing, because they know their shit. They know what they're talking about. They have the most room to speak on situations like this. And in a situation like this, a doctor, especially a doctor who's also a mother of 3, which Dr. Katie is, it's class. So thank you for that. Go show us some love. Anyway, that about does it for the situation itself. I think we've covered all avenues of what's actually happened here. And now I want to talk about what's happening afterwards, the aftermath of this whole situation. So now that Alana is without custody of the children, or at least I fucking hope so, I think at the very least she's not, in custody of the 1-year-old, of Daisy. But either which way, I've only managed to find one statement from her after this whole situation has occurred, and it is a voice message, so let's give that a listen to.
Unfair, and it's getting addressed at the moment with the proper council.
Is that why you've shut the post down?
I can't speak too much. I will get my lawyers to contact you, Bailey. I do really appreciate it.
So that was just posted by Jalen. I will tag her down below. She is also covering this. But I believe the interviewer was referencing her social media accounts when he asks, is that why you took the posts down? Because they had an account on TikTok with 1.1 million followers that is now gone. It is also being reported by their local news media outlets that Daisy is doing okay and that she was just released from the hospital.
Another shout out to Recovered Mum 1, who's been covering this situation as well. A lot of the TikToks here are from her. Go show her some love as well if you have the time. But anyway, it's pretty standard shit in terms of a response. She says, I can't talk about it too much. I get my lawyers to come in touch. That's my awful Australian accent, by the way. Big up all the Australian subscribers. I know you exist. I'm really sorry for diminishing your entire culture's history with that fucking awful accent. I honestly feel as though there's no point even interviewing her. Like, she is a manipulative sociopath who probably fucking loves the attention. Why else would she be faking her daughter's illnesses? Be like she cares more about being perceived and being known, being famous, being rich, than she does the safety of her own children. So giving her this much of a platform, in a way, you're letting her win. And I'm a dickhead because I'm adding to it by making this video, but like, this shit has to be said. And again, I don't know if everything I'm saying is spot on. I'm not a fucking psychologist, but I will say it is very clear that she loves the attention. She loves that shit. Why else would she be doing this? It's either money or attention, and in my opinion, it's both. And also, for as much as she says that the allegations against her are unfair, if it's unfair, why not release a public statement about it? Why is your only statement that we've heard since the allegations have come out this wee snippet on an interview, some miscellaneous interview that I don't even know where it came from and that barely anyone has actually seen? Like, fucking stop being a coward. And also, if it's so unfair, if these allegations are so false, then why has your husband posted on Snapchat a response to the whole thing saying that it's true and saying that he's disappointed in you? I had no idea this was happening. I will say something is fishy about these Snapchat stories though. I'll read the husband's response out now and then I'll give my comment afterwards. I figured this would be the fastest way to reach everybody, as I know everyone likes to gossip. For what it's worth, I had no idea about what Alana was doing to Daisy. I pushed for those surgeries because in my heart I felt that it would help. I didn't realize that Daisy was being drugged the entire time, causing her symptoms to be that way. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm a good dad and I do my best to love and protect my children. I should have done better for them. I'm sorry I couldn't protect Daisy the way that I should have. The children have been taken into custody under speculation I potentially had something to do with this. On everything I have ever known and ever loved, I had no idea what Alana was doing. Okay, so we're hearing it from the dad himself, from one of the parents. The children have been taken into custody, which is great. That is the best thing that I've heard out of this whole situation. I'm really glad that neither of the parents have access to those children. Alana, you're an absolute monster. You win. I don't know what he means by you win. Like, has she won? I mean, she's been found out. The children have been taken into custody. It sounds as though she's fucking lost. She was definitely winning for a while, but I don't know what you mean you win, like you're admitting defeat. Surely you should be fucking fighting for it. The battle's not over yet, my friend. I don't know, maybe I'm looking too much into that one sentence, but you win just sounds like it strikes me as a really weird thing to say here. And to be honest, this bloke strikes me as a weird bloke. To all my 4 beautiful, beautiful children, I love you so dearly. I'm so sorry. Maybe tell that to them, in person and not over Snapchat stories to the entire world. I also want to add to all the people that have dragged me through the dirt and said all these terrible things about me, when the truth comes out, and it absolutely will, I hope you all feel horrible for the nasty, hurtful, and terrible things you've all said about me. I've had no part in any of this, and I've only done my best to support Daisy and her medical journey. Dude, I'm sorry, but you cannot blame people for having a go at you when your daughter is being drugged by her mother. It's perfectly natural for people to think that you had a part to play in this because you were a part of the videos. You were a part of that channel. You are a part of a family channel, which in and of itself is exploitatory of their children. So illness or not, you are still exploiting your children for fucking TikTok fame. You can't then cry when people have a go at you for your child being poisoned by their mother. And I really do hope you're telling the truth when you say that you had no idea about any of this and that, you know, this is all a shock to you and that you really think Alana's evil. I hope that's true. I genuinely really do. Whether or not I believe you, I genuinely can't decide right now. There just isn't enough information in my opinion, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, mainly because I want to believe you. Anyway, a lot of people have actually been speculating, because so far I've been thinking the two motives for this are either money or fame, but there is also the third option that she is just mentally ill, like so mentally ill that she barely understands what she's doing. And this is something called fictitious disorder, which a lot of people are speculating that she has. Now, this is something that was popularized by the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard of. That might be a video for another day, but I think it is genuinely just a bit too fucked for me to cover. Now, according to the DSM-5, which is the main manual used to diagnose mental health disorders in Australia, a person has to fulfill 4 criteria for them to be diagnosed with this disorder. Falsification of physical or psychological signs or symptoms or induction of injury or disease in another associated with identified deception. 2. The individual presents another individual, victim, to others as ill, impaired, or injured. 3. The deceptive behavior is evident even in the absence of obvious external rewards. 4. The behavior is not better explained by another mental disorder, such as delusional disorder or another psychotic disorder. Now, we know for a fact that Alana fulfills the first 2 of those criteria, but we can't say for sure if she fulfills the last 2. And I'm not going to say anything about anything because I'm not a psychologist. I'm not here to diagnose her, but I am here to present the facts, show them to you, and let you make your own conclusion. I have found a good video here about the disorder, otherwise known as Munchausen Syndrome, and this video is great because it covers it specifically in terms of how it can be perceived in social media as well, so we'll give that a watch.
They're extremely inviting of sympathy when people ask them how their son or how their child's doing or how they're doing. Oftentimes I've seen individuals post pictures of themselves or the person that they're caring of at the hospital, getting IVs, getting treatments, and yet something's off about those pictures. They seem happy almost in some of these pictures, and there's just a lot of descriptive writing about exactly what it is that they're going through in the moment. We don't really know the exact prevalence of Munchausen's or Munchausen's by proxy as a result, because these people don't usually present themselves ever to the psychiatric wing or specialty mental health services. They generally are in the medical practices and at emergency rooms and urgent cares, and whenever they get a referral to psychiatry or psychology, they never follow through.
Yeah, so once again, I am not diagnosing anybody. That is not my job. That's not what I'm here to do. However, I will say this video posted 4 years ago, no relation to this situation. In my opinion, perfectly describing what Alana is doing in this situation. All the pictures with almost like a glee, almost like a smugness behind it, a happiness about the whole thing. She literally chuckled in that first video, if you remember.
But I've just got the stick ones.
Just weird behavior all around. There's no doubt in my mind that she's tapped at least a little bit. She's fucking cuckoo. And don't get me wrong, disorder or not, there's no fucking justification for this pish. She is evil. I just thought I'd throw it out there because it is a genuinely interesting thought. Now, I will tell you one thing, and this is something that I am comfortable saying. Alana has always been a fucking weirdo, and it is so shocking to me that people didn't clock on to the fact that she was, you know, a weirdo, a creep, and didn't belong here sooner.
In the last couple of months, our lives have changed so much. We have gone from living normal lives to now living in the hospital. Daisy is now having seizures that last anywhere from an hour to 2.5 hours at a time, and she's having more than one of these a day. I kept getting notifications from my PO box to come and collect my stuff, so I thought I could do a bit of a haul in another video.
It's just so weird. It's really the fake smile. Why are you faking a smile when you're talking about your kid in that sort of light? This woman doesn't do anything genuinely. When she cries, it's fake. When she smiles, it's fake. When she gets angry, it's probably fake. Does she do anything genuine? Does she do anything real? Well, probably not, because she's the owner of a family fucking channel. I trust family channels less than I trust politicians. And I honestly, I don't even know if I'm joking or not. Like, I might actually mean that. I mean, I thought the way Molly Rutter handled DV 2 videos ago was bad. At least she didn't do this. At least she didn't go on video, do her makeup, and go, so last night I was on a date with a guy, and he, like, beat the shit out of me, and then gave me a black eye, and it was just really bad, and I just hated it because it's not good when you get beaten up. It just feels, it really hurts, actually. Anyway, now it's time for an unboxing video. We're gonna eat all this chocolate and have a fucking sausage roll. And by the way, guys, don't forget that my youngest son almost died of an epileptic seizure the other day. But that aside, doesn't my blush look so fucking nice? By the way, to all the Australians who are still watching after that shambles of an accent, I salute you, genuinely. Because you've sat through it twice now, so big up. I mean, if you're not subbed already and you've made it to this point, you might as well, right?
My beautiful friend Alana, you guys probably know as the Harris family, is going through a really tough time at the moment. If you guys don't already know this story, it is definitely not my place to share. Even though there's not a whole heap that anybody can do at this time, except for medical professionals, of course. What can help a mum so much is knowing that they are loved and supported. Today, I'm going to make a hamper basket for Alana, Brock, and Daisy just to let them know how much they are loved and supported.
So this is one of Alana's, like, IRL friends, who I guess is also an influencer, trying to help them in their tough situation by buying them some, like, noodles and toothbrushes, I guess. Like, a gift bag. It's a nice gesture. There's nothing wrong with it. But, I mean, this implies that not only did she have the internet fooled with her shit, and she's such a bad actor, by the way, that the only reason people were fooled by her is because people can't believe, people can't even conceptualize the amount of genuine evil. This amount of evil does not exist in the world commonly. So it's not the first thing that people think when someone acts a bit weird about their child being ill. I think that's why she got away with it for so long. If she was lying about something a bit more trivial, I feel like people would have caught on like that because she's such a horrible actor. Not one real tear was shed in any of her videos. She's smiling while talking about her kids' seizures. But this implies that not only did she have the internet fooled, but people in her real life were fooled. Not only were her friends fooled, but her family, like her husband, also claims that she was fooling him as well. I think her friend making this gift bag and not knowing anything of the sort definitely adds validity to Brooke's side of the story. Again though, I'm not too sure, like 100%, because for all I know, this influencer could also be lying. Again, I'm not making any accusations here, I'm just trying to explore like all different possibilities, all sides of this story potentially.
I started reading my Bible and found strength in God's words, but I still felt a little lost as I wasn't connected in a church. Then C3 Powerhouse started popping up in conversation, and by the third person asking me, I really felt God starting to tug at my heart, and I felt like I really needed to go and check this place out. I started attending church and I loved it so much that I started going to 2 services a week. I did growth track straight away, started Alpha, joined 2 Connect groups on alternate weeks, and now I'm serving in the hospitality and the crèche team. A fire in my heart has been reignited for God. And then something amazing happened. Pastor John was asked to pray for someone, and not only someone with kidney pains, and not just specifically someone on dialysis and in need of a kidney transplant. At the time, I was not in the service. I was upstairs in growth track, but a few of the beautiful ladies came up to get me. I was a little nervous about being on stage, but in that moment, as Pastor John prayed, I could feel the presence of God working inside me. The next day, I went straight to the doctors to get tested, and was tested again at hospital the next night. And my kidney function had raised from 7% to 33%.
I mean, I'm happy that your kidney disease is cured. That's a good thing at least. But to be fair, it's a lot easier to cure your disease when you don't have a mother who's pumping you with drugs to poison you intentionally for TikTok views. It feels good to heal though, doesn't it? It feels good to be ill and then finally be healthy again. It's like, oh man, what a rough ride that was, but it only makes being healthy that much sweeter. Maybe because you know what that feeling is like, you wouldn't inflict that much pain on your baby and keep it consistent, would you? Or maybe you're just lying about this as well. It wouldn't fucking surprise me, because this story is nonsensical. It's just as nonsensical as everything else in your goddamn career. And I say career with huge quotation marks. This is not a career. Bricklaying is a career. Plumbing is a career. Exploiting your children and giving them illnesses and pumping them with benzodiazepine is not a career. How do you explain what you do for work to your family on fucking Thanksgiving? Seriously.
Guys, Chase slept for 20 hours yesterday. 20. He was only awake for 4 hours. There he is. There he is.
If anybody in my life was asleep for 20 hours straight, I would be extremely concerned. We are going straight to the GP, hospital. The second we can go to any sort of medical attention, we're getting it. Because that is fucked. That is not something you should say with that huge of a smile on your face. That's not a good thing. It's not something you should be proud of, and you're a shit mother. If your kid is asleep for 20 hours, something's wrong. I'm sorry to tell you. And you probably know something's wrong, because I mean, again, this might be presumptuous. You could very well be the person who is responsible for that something being wrong. And now this is the issue, because every time your kids are genuinely sick with something, or if we look back on your career and you talk about your other kids being ill, which I think you have done, I can't find the video, so I'm not gonna, make any accusations, but I do believe that this woman has shown her other kids being ill in certain situations, certain medical procedures going down with her other kids. It puts all that into question. Because this was exposed, every illness your kid has ever had, we cannot fully believe you when you say that it was naturally, you know, it occurred naturally. You are now a potential perpetrator in all of those illnesses, and that is so fucked up. You could have caused serious permanent brain damage with the amount of drugs you were pumping into your child if none of this was caught. If you considered that and you still did it, you're an unjustifiable arsehole. If you didn't consider it, then you're still an unjustifiable arsehole, because you should fucking think about shit like that before you do it to your baby. There is no situation here that doesn't make you an arsehole. And by the way, arsehole is like the understatement of the century.
So tired.
Daisy spent her first birthday in the hospital. Oh, well done. I hope you're proud of that. I mean, that is a sign of any great parent when your baby's spending their first fucking birthday in the hospital. And that's not me attacking parents whose children are genuinely ill, by the way. But if your kid's in the hospital because of something that you did, yeah, I mean, I don't feel too bad saying that things need to be done. Precautions need to be taken. The kid should not be yours anymore. The fact that you're posting this almost proud, almost like it's some beautiful moment. I can't get over how sick and twisted you are. I can't bear any more of this. So you know what? I think we'll end the video there. Once again, let me know if you think I said anything like out of line or I overstepped any boundaries here. I make like 2-hour-long videos every week. Big shocker. You are not going to agree with everything I say, and I feel like I've said some things in this video that are particularly divisive or rude or, you know, an overstepping of boundaries like I just said. And just like always, I'm completely open to discussion, criticism. Tell me if you think I'm an arsehole, or if I'm correct, or if I'm saying something blatantly wrong. I'm open to all of it. I really do welcome all comments if they're reasonable, both good and bad. For now, though, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe as always. Big shout out to my patrons who are scrolling past me right now. And yeah, I think that's about it. So, bye.